Might take a few minutes, sorry.
Good evening.
Good evening, Professor. Good evening, Preeti.
Good evening.
Good evening,
Good
Professor
evening.
Deepa. Good evening.
Dr. Priyadarsini. Good evening, Dr. Rufus.
Good evening.
Yeah, we can start. Nancy, who's the compier for this evening? Yes, Sree Abirami has come. Ganesh? Ganesh is here. Hi, Sri Lata.
Let me introduce Miss Deepa Priyadarsini. She's chairperson for today, MCC.
Good evening, ma'am.
Dr. Srilata is our patron along with Dr. Rufus. Both of them are patrons of our club.
Okay, ma'am. Okay, ma'am. Nice to meet you, ma'am.
Shall we start? Is Ganesh here? Sumitra, are you here? Sumitra is here. Okay, we can start. Ganesh is
Okay,
here.
ma'am.
Is Ganesh here?
No, ma'am. I think he hasn't joined us yet.
Okay, I'll give him a call.
Yes, ma'am.
Devarsini, the youngest member of our group, has joined. He's a first year student.
Okay.
So, what do you say? She's a what member?
Good, good. Catch them young.
Yeah.
Yes. Let them listen to research papers.
Meritorious student who's been given a birth in our Indian.
Okay.
So happy to know that, ma'am.
I know.
Oh, the love for research at this young age. Very good.
Yes, ma'am.
Devarshini, you can wish. Yeah, I'll introduce you to Dr.
Yes,
Rufus.
ma'am.
He's the patron of our club,
Yes, ma'am.
and
Sir.
Good
You
evening.
Thank you,
come
ma'am.
to the research club.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Yes.
Uh, uh, Ma'am, Ganesh
I think we start.
has joined under the name of Tara Chandrika. He says that is
Okay.
a different account.
Okay.
He's
Then we
joined.
Yeah,
start.
yeah. There is. She's there. Okay. Yeah.
It's my sister's account, ma'am. I'm using this account
Yes,
for now
yes, yes.
because
Okay.
my
Okay.
device is not
Okay.
working.
Okay. Okay.
Yes,
so
ma'am.
we'll start.
Shall I start, ma'am? Good evening and welcome to the fortnightly symposium of In Tandem Research Club of the Department of English, Queen Mary's College. I am Sumitra of First MA English and your companion for this delightful evening. This academic year 2022 to 23, we have a theme-based series titled The Prize-Winning Story, and through today's session, we are going to explore the history of Sahitya Akademi Awards and Sahitya Akademi winning text and their context. Sahitya Akademi Award, also known as Sahitya Akademi Main Award, is conferred on 24 writers in 24 languages annually for the most outstanding books of literary merit published in any of the major Indian language recognized by the Academy. Sahitya Academy Award was first presented in 1955 and has been presented uninterrupted in all the language recognized by Sahitya Academy at a given time. With this note, I welcome our chairperson, Dr. Deepa Priyadarsini, Associate Professor, Department of English, Madras Christian College. I welcome the paper presenters, Mrs. Sree Abirami and Ganesh Aadhitya. I extend my warm welcome to the faculty members, research scholars, and PG students who are present at this forum. I deem it an honor to introduce Deepa Priyadarsini, Associate Professor of English, Madras Christian College. Last year, Dr. Deepa Priyadarsini ma'am had chaired our in tandem session on memory studies. We are greatly blessed to have at Madras. Now I request to take over the proceedings.
Thank you. I'm really honored to be here. This is the second time I'm actually sharing a session here. Thank you very much. So let's start with the presentations.
Sree Abirami, you can start.
Good evening to one who are present here. I'm so sorry, this microphone is not working currently. I'm Sree Abirami. Firstly, I need to thank my HOD ma'am, Maria Preeti ma'am, for giving this wonderful opportunity. Hello, am I audible, ma'am?
Yes, yes.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you so much, ma'am, for giving this opportunity. We are going to see the overview of Sahitya Akademi Award with focus of Tamil writers. We'll see the introduction firstly. The Sahitya Akademi Award is a literary honor in India. Actually, it is the second highest literary honor in India after Janpit Award. That is the first award, and this will come as the second award. It annually confers on writers of the most outstanding books of literary merits published in any of the 24th language it is recognized. 22 languages from the Indian Constitution, and the Sahitya Akademi recognized two languages as a language in which program are implemented. That is English and Rajasthani language. It is established in 1954. The Sahitya Academy was established in 1954 by the government of India. Long before it was proposed, the proposal for the award was given to the British Council before the freedom, and it was later after the freedom, the independence Indian government was commenced it. The award purpose is to recognize and promote excellence in Indian writing and also acknowledge new trends. It's actually promoting the Indian writers throughout the world. Particularly, this award is given to the Indian writers uh, who is native people of India. The annual process of selecting awardees run for the preceding 12 months. The plaque award by the Sahitya Academy was designed by the Indian filmmaker Satyajit Ray. Prior to the plague, occasionally was made of marble, but this practice was discontinued because of the excessive weight. Later, it was made with the copper to decrease the weight. In order to decrease the weight, in 1965, they were made it with copper. Ma'am, my screen is moving. The slides are. Hello. Thank you.
Yes, it is. Right.
The first picture which was given is the headquarters of Sahitya Academy. It is in Rabindra Bhavan, New Delhi. Dr. Chandrasekhar Kambar is the current president of Sahitya Academy. The second picture is the emblem of Sahitya Academy. Sahitya Academy means Academy of Letter. Two other names were also suggested for this award. The first name was Sahitya Bharati and the second name was Sahitya Nikitan. But finally, they found Sahitya Academy to be closest translation of the Academy of Letter. The third picture is about the award. A casket contains an engraved copper plate and a shawl, and the amount of 1 lakh rupees cash prize. The rules and criteria for the submission. Although the academy is under the control of the Minister of Culture, Government of India, it functions as an autonomous body. To be eligible for the award, the work must be an outstanding contribution to the language and literature to which it belongs. They are not taking in such a way anything. It's okay. Like they are not taking like that. They are seeing the language and the literary standard of the book which was coming for this award as nominee. It can be a creative or a critical work, translation, anthology, abridgment, uh, completion, annotation, and research paper are ineligible. In case of tiebreakers, two or three books arriving for this award, they will see the literary contribution and the standardization of the author to give the given the award to be given the award. Uh, Sorry, ma'am. This one. Only Indian nationals are eligible for the award. The work of authors who have been awarded earlier by the Academy Translation Prize, Bal Sahitya Paraskar and Yuva Paraskar are exception through are ineligible. Further, the author must not be a recipient of Bhasha Saman or the Sahitya Academy Fellowship. The works of membership of the executive board of the academy are ineligible for this award. A posthumous publication is eligible only the author has been deceased for over 5 years starting from the current year. And the Academy will prepare a ground list shortlisted from a set of eligible work in each of the recognized language. Each language will have advisory board members who will shortlist and form and send a panel consisting of not more than 5 members to the president of the academy. The jury members are selected by the presidents after considering the recommendations in the behalf of the member of language advisory board concerned. The academy purchases the book recommended by the referees in the preliminary round and send them to the jury members and convener. The jury members arrive at the winner based on consensus or by majority. Here, the jury also have the rights to declare that book that this year no book is eligible for this award. Now we are going to see about the structure of General Council. This General Council consists of 99 members, and I just listed out a few of them, not everything. They are President, Vice President, Financial Advisor, and others. In Executive Board, there are 6 members, and Financial Committee, there are 5 members. Here I have listed out some the languages which is recognized by Sahitya Academy. There are 24 languages. They are Assam, Bengali, Bodo, Dogri, Gujarati, Hindi, Kannada, Kashmiri, uh, Konkani, Maithili, Malayalam, Manipuri, Marathi, Nepali, Odisha, Punjabi, Sanskrit, Santali, Sindhi, Tamil, Telugu, Urdu, English, and Rajasthani. Now I'm just going to narrow this part to the English writer. Sorry. Tamil writer. Actually, we are focusing on a Tamil writer. So far, I have saying about the general things about the Sahitya Academy. Now we are focusing on this particularly about the Tamil authors. The first Tamil Sahitya Academy was given to R.P. Sedu Pillai for his work Tamil Inbam in 1955. And I have taken some of the books. In 2012, Toll, it's a novel. It has given Sahitya Academy Award in 2012. It's by D. Selvaraj. 2013, Korkai, a novel by R.N. Jody Cruz. 2004, Anyari, a novel by Pumani. In 2015, Ilakkiya Suvadugal, It's an essay by A. Madhavan. 2016, ஒரு சிறு இசை. It's a short story by Vannadasan. 2017, காதல் நாட்கள். It's poetry. It's by Inkulab. In 2018, Sanjaram. It's a novel by S. Ramakrishnan. 2019, for Soul. It's a novel by Cho Dharman. In 2020, செல்லாத பணம். It's a novel by Imayam. In 2021, சிவப்பு கழுத்துடன் ஒரு பச்சை பறவை. It's a short story by Ambai. And at last, for the 2022, Kalapani, it's a novel by M. Rajendran, a retired IAS officer. These are some books I have chosen from the Sahitya Akademi award winning. I have I just like to narrate about a particular book which I've listed so far. I have chosen this 2022's Sellada Panam by Imayam. Let's see about the author. About Imayam. I'm so sorry, ma'am. It's getting Sree joining. Let's see some few points about the author, and we'll just go to the book. Annamalai is the one who writes under the pseudonym of Imayam. He's well-known Tamil author. Actually, his works are well-known in Tamil. After completing his master degree, he has worked as a teacher in school. He introduced himself to Tamil readers in his first work, Koveru Mulus. In Tamil, they were called as Koveru Kalgai. And then this is Sahitya Akademi Award in 2020. He is also the recipient of Agni Akshara Award, the Tamil Nadu Progressive Writer Association Award, the NLC Award, the Tamil Tendril Tiruvika Award, among those, and has been honored by the government of Kerala, Tamil Nadu, and India. If there is good, there will be the bad thing, like pros and cons. We have seen so many things good about this author, and particularly another author was accused about him. That is Raj Gautam. He's accused Imam for projecting only the Dalit plights in his story. Actually, we'll see something about this book. This is the cover of the book. Most of his work is published in Priya's publication. This is the picture of Imayam, which was given in the slide. Are you able to see this, ma'am?
Yes, Abirami.
Yes.
In the novel, feeling and thoughts do not identify themselves separately. Gel together. It's gel together and connected like the same. If at the same time we are we will cry. At the same time we will get angry for the situation of the protagonist. By reading this book, we will be in the confused state, whether to get angry on this protagonist or to say something, or what to say, to leave them, like go somewhere like this. You didn't obey for my words, like that. We will be angry for everything by reading this about the protagonist. Now, nothing can be said about the combination of two. What is the totality of an experience? Actually, the totality of an experience is the real life experience. If I say I'm going to eat a raw mango from the tree, if I'm saying I'm going to cut like this in this shape, and I'm going to put some salt and chili powder, like I'm narrating this, so many of them who are hearing this will be mouth watering because they have felt the taste. In the same way, this novel is in the common man's perspective. So if while we're reading, we will be in the feeling of the those characters. The work of Stella the Panam as the fullest of human experience. We may be experienced in our family, we may be experienced it in our street or neighborhood or anything, but we may have the experience or heard about it before this. The specialty of Saradapanam is to ensure that the freshness of thoughts does not distort the fullest of experiences. Here I like to ask one question. Anybody has any idea about the title Selladapanam? Hello?
Demonetization.
Everyone will say demonetization on seeing the title, because that time we were just that note is a paper. That money is so much of emotion. Somebody saved it little and little. Somebody may be having lot of cashes in their bank. Somebody may have in the what we call trunk property, like that at all. They were saving. So overnight, it is became like, no, it is not worth of anything. Just a paper. It is. We were running to the petrol bunks, and we were running to the jewelry shop, and how we will. We are thinking how we will make it valid. Overnight, it was became invalid money. And any other thing? Any other idea?
When you can't buy certain things with money.
Yes, of course. Yes, ma'am. It's about if we can't buy something with our money, then the money which we have in that situation is the Salladapanam. It became the Salladapanam. It's just a paper. It has no value at all. In the story, Salladapanam, here the same situation is going to happen in this. We were in this Chennai already. We have faced the flood and demonetization like that. In flooded all, we were had so much of money, but it is no use. Can we eat the money? No. But even we didn't have proper water, proper food. We were starving for water and food. That time, with money, there is no use. Some humans may have humanity, and they were coming with the foods through the streets and distributing. And that time, humanity were the biggest thing we seen. Yes, and the same situation were coming and occurring in this Seladapanam by Imayam. Actually, I'm going to tell this 6 main characters in the novel. It is Revati, the protagonist. She is an engineering graduate, and Ravi, he is a refugee from Burma. He is a auto rickshaw driver. Amaravati is the mother of Revati. She is housewife. The characters. Housewife. Naresan, Revati's father, he is a teacher. Murugan, the brother of Revati, and Arulmozhi, wife of Murugan. Here, Revati was falling in love with this Ravi. She is an engineering graduate, and this guy is a auto rickshaw wala. How can he fall in love with this? But she is falling for no reason at all. This guy went behind her. He has cutted his hand for his love, to prove his love. That time she was, oh, this much he was doing for me, and she got admired and fall in love with him. And for no reason, she was loving him. For just to cutting his hand, she was loving. Uh, Nothing is there in that guy, no good quality, no nothing at all. But she was simply falling in love with that Ravi. His parents, except Ravi, these other characters are from the higher upper class family. This Ravi is a refugee. They also called as Dalit in this novel. This total family is opposing their love. But she's so stubborn, and she was marrying Ravi, and 3 years gone by. But through this society's behavior to Ravi, he's becoming so arrogant. He was drinking alcohol, and he was beating him. He was simply fighting with her. She was beating daily. She was getting more troubled by his lover. Uh, See how it will be. We are marrying with the fullest love. We love him and marry him, and he is now um, treating us badly like this. Then how she will feel? Then the total family is opposing their love, and the father, sister-in-law, and brother are not at all seeing that girl's face and not talking to them. But the mother is a little bit favored to her. She will meet her here and there in the like temple and somewhere like that, and she will give some money to them, to that girl actually. And she will be sometimes, if the father and brother will not at home, means she will visit the home, but she will stand near the door, and she will watch here and there whether they are coming from somewhere, like that she will watch. Then only she will enter like a cat, in a slow motion, in a very fearic, phantomic, like. Then uh, the day has gone by. This Ravi's behavior has gone more and more aggressive. One day in fight, this Revati um, used the fuel which he had for the auto. She poured it on her, and she burned herself. 80% of her flesh got burnt. She was admitted in Pondicherry Jimper Hospital. The most of the scenes in this novel were in the hospital. This information was went into this years of the family, and they were rushed to the hospital, and all of them were crying. The nurse were allowing only one people to see them. That was the mother. Firstly, she was going, and she couldn't identify which one is her daughter, because in that ward every victim who was some are set on fire um, by someone else, like the in-laws will pour kerosene and they will burn like that. And some attempted suicide on themselves. Some are from the accidents causing while the kitchen, the burning of something and spilling like that. Fully like, or smell will be not nice. Their features will be like uh, not nice. No eyes, no nose, no lips. They all get what we say, செதஞ்சு போயிருக்கு, like that. uh, then she was entering, she was in fear, where to see who is that, who's her daughter, like that. One sound, amma, is heard from the very end. Then she turned, and she saw that victim, means her daughter. She is like a chicken, the raw chicken, how the flesh, and she was so scary. Uh, this mother was got scared and ran off from there. Uh, See, when we see our loved one in this that situation, we may are portraying there for a beauty. My daughter was having long hair. That is a beauty, and we'll say like that. And we'll portray the lips, how the lips are looking so cute, and we may portray your eyes are so cute, like that. In that stage, there is nothing, no hair at all, no lips is visible, no nose at all, like that. In that stage, she's seen a daughter, and she was so scared and ran off. Uh, that nurse is saying, இப்படி பயந்தீங்கன்னா எப்படி clean பண்ணுவீங்க? Like that, she is scolding her for running from the. Then she was numb to herself, like the nurse who are working in that ward, and she was going and taking care of her daughter. The same thing was his brother also doing, his father also doing. She was in mixed thought, like we did a mistake, we did a mistake by burning ourselves. Is that right, burning ourselves for a silly fight? There is no situation that we can't control. We can handle any situation. There is no thing to destroy our lives. We can sustain any situation. This is something silly to burn ourselves, but she did. She was thinking, the thoughts are all going on the mind, but she was happy in seeing a father, brother, and mother. They are all reunited, and they are all there, but she was also suffering. She was in the pain, the burning pain of her, like that. She was troubling. Her mother was saying daily, and she asking to the nurse, uh, she screamed, என் பொண்ணு கத்துனாளா வரும்போது, எப்படி இருந்தா, like that she is asking. For that, nurse is saying, ஒரு கடுகு கையில விழுந்தாலே இப்படி எரியுது, உன் பொண்ணு மண்ணெண்ணெயே ஊத்தி கொளுத்திட்டு இருக்கா. சாரி, தட்ஸ் ஃபியூவல், பெட்ரோல் ஊத்தி கொளுத்திட்டு இருக்கா, எப்படி எரியாம இருக்குமா, கத்துனாதான், like that they were saying. And some of them around the ward are saying, இதெல்லாம் தேவையா இந்த பொண்ணுங்களுக்கு, இதுங்களுக்குலாம் இது ஒரு விளையாட்டா போச்சு, like that they are speaking. And some of them in the neighborhood, while they are going to the home and coming back to hospital, they are saying, how is your girl, அந்த பையன் தான் கண்டிப்பா ஊத்தி எரிச்சிருப்பான், like that they are saying. This will create some uncomfortable in the parents minds, like they are how they grown their child with a lot of love and care. Now it is nothing. She was what to say, she was in the deathbed. We doesn't know will she come alive, or she will be died. In the situation, they are facing the lot of problems, and the thoughts which has arrived in each of the characters are beautifully narrated in this Seladapanam. And the Ravi, the character, he is a common man. It's a middle class, not a middle class, more than poor people, and he doesn't know what to do. So he was consuming alcohol in that situation, and coming to hospital, he doesn't like to face her parents. Her parents doesn't like to face this Ravi. They both are blaming each other. Her parents are blaming, because of you, this incident that happened. This Ravi was accusing their parents, because of you this had happened. He was burst out. The Ravi, the character was burst out, like, if you were given the proper respect to me, if you are not treated me ill in the public, and if you are given the respect and that what we call angigaram in the society, if you are accepting me as your um, uh, um, son-in-law, I would be treating your daughter like the princess. But you ill-treated me. I doesn't know where to show the anger, and I showed on daily. I have drunk and beaten your daughter. Because of you only this happened. He is accusing their parents like that. The total thing is going in the situation. Police are coming. The parents want their daughter to come alive. Everyone will think like that, come alive. But the police is coming and asking for a confession of death. How they will appo iva sethiruvala, why they are confessing, getting this marana vakumalam like that, they are thinking. They're feeling so sad because of this fears of the society and the people around them. uh, the nurses are coming, இன்னும் உயிரோட இருக்கா, அது இன்னும் அந்த கேஸ் ஆகலையா, like that at all. They are speaking uh, in front, not in front by but some way they are speaking like that. On hearing this, they're feeling so sad. In one stage, her mother is having a thought. It is better her to get die, means to live her life. Um, she is getting more troubled, and she was suffering in more pain. Better she will be died and this thing, and like that. To have a thought for a mother, it is not easy, la. Nobody will say her daughter to go die like that. Nobody will say go die, it's okay, you go and die. No, it is so hard. In what a situation, if how she was seeing the trouble of a daughter, she said it is better for her to die instead of suffering in this, like that she is feeling. um, in this thing, and all this are happening, the readers who are going to read this novel also will feel the same situation. If the mother character will cry, we also tend to cry. If they are getting angry on the society, on the nurse and police and the people around the ward, we also get angry. And these all are happening here, and this goes on for a week. This will be within the week, and here we are going to come for the conclusion part. Um, do you have any thought? Will she will what happened to the Revati at last? Hello, in between the battle of life and death, will she won and won the battle and survive, or else she will defeated by death and she will be died? Any idea? Hello, nobody has an idea.
Excuse me, ma'am. I'm Karpagam from Tiruvannamalai. I had an idea that you told that already she had been burned for 88 percentage burning damage she has,
80%.
but um, but because of their parents' family's love, she may have lived, ma'am.
Yes, super. Yeah. Hmm. Any other opinions?
I think if she's made to live, the impact of the story would be lost. Only if she dies, it'll be more tragic and it'll drive home the main idea, the main theme of the story.
Yes. But here I'm not going to say the conclusion what is going to happen to Revati. I'm going to I'm going to put you people on the curiosity to read the book. So I'm not going to say anything on Revati's thing. She is going to come alive or not. So you
No,
people go read the book and
no, the title says, I mean, that she will not live. That is all.
yes,
So
ma'am, but
I haven't read it. I
not
haven't
like
read
that.
this one.
Oh,
No, it is. Even if she
okay,
lives,
okay.
yes. It's a very negative title. So it's.
Yes,
And
ma'am.
coming from Imayam, it has to be like that.
Yes, ma'am. And nobody will say, even she got burnt, but nobody want her to die. Even like we want even fully it is burnt, no eyes were there, but we want her to come and talk with us. Like that only we will what to say. We will expect la. That was the thing I was telling. I'm putting some of the listeners in the curiosity to read the novel. Here I'm concluding, ma'am. Thank you for the wonderful opportunity I have given.
Thank you,
Hello.
Abirami. Wonderful
Hello.
presentation, I must say.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, very, very nice. Initially, you gave a very comprehensive idea of the Sahitya Akademi Awards, the procedure through which they select the writers, and you also gave a list of writers, recent Tamil writers who had won the award. So that was a very detailed presentation. After that, you gave a nice outline of the story, Sellada Panam. I could sense the enthusiasm in you. You would have read it, I think, with a lot of feeling. I could see that when you spoke about the actual dialogues that the characters speak in the novel. So very nice, very good presentation. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Yeah, I was also, I was also touched by the way you went to all those gory details about death by fire. I mean, accident by fire, and all the other. I think that's exactly what Imam wanted to portray, right? For a woman, it is who was a breadwinner. All those, after she does this on an impulse because she cannot manage the woes of life, but in death, she would have lost all her courage even after that, after having lived. See, the spark of life is, all there's one part of you pulling you back to life. She managed to survive, but there is no need. There is no. She knows that there is no use. Even living a life of a person who survives burn. Very few people are able to live on, especially for a woman. I think that's what he tries to tell in that work, and you have tried to make us, create that kind of an interest in us to read the book and understand those depths. That's exactly why I think he won the award. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Can we move on to the second presenter, Ganesh? Can you present your paper?
Yes, ma'am. Both my audio and video lines are clear, right, ma'am?
Yes.
Thank you. First of all, a very good evening to everybody present here. I remember listening to my friend Sennevel's presentation almost 1.5 years ago, I believe, and thinking that I should present someday in this in tandem research club, and that's happening nearly after 1.5 years. And I'm happy, and I'm thankful to Dr. Maria ma'am and Rufus sir for adding me to this group, and all the other professors who are here. Today, the work that I've chosen, it's called A Red-Necked Green Bird. Okay, as the presenter before me pointed out, it won the Sahitya Akademi Award in the year 2021. It's a very recent work which came out in 2021 and it first came out in Tamil, and its translation was also released in the same year. Sivappu Kaluthudan or Pachai Paravai. Now I want this presentation to be a casual, one-sided conversation, and then I'll take up questions. In fact, if you have any opposing views, I'll welcome those. Okay, I'm ready to answer all those questions. First of all, there are two reasons. Ambai is an alumna of Madras Christian College. Okay, she's from the Department of Tamil, and she has been writing works, Tamil short stories for nearly 40 years. In fact, she is the founder of Sparrow, called Sound and Picture Archives for Research on Women. Okay, it's more like a publishing house that documents stories by women. Okay, and the second thing that made me choose this work is the beautiful cover art. Okay, I want you guys to Google and check it out later. The cover art it has a very soothing nature to it. Okay, it's just like the God of Small Things also has a beautiful cover, and also Arthur Miller's play, The Death of the Salesman, and the money it has Ivanhoe and all those covers. These are some of my beautiful, some of my favorite covers. And இது இல்லாம there is one point. Okay, I mean Ambai is labeled as a feminist writer. Okay, by all the critics. Okay, even all the online sources, they attach the word feminist with her name. But the reason I am not going to analyze her stories through that lens, because I feel that all the characters that she portrays in her works, they are flawed individuals. Okay, given a possibility for redemption. Okay, and I think that's what is that's the most interesting aspect about Ambai's stories. In fact, there is no binarism. Okay, and usually this is my personal opinion. That is, some of the feminist works, what they do is they portray men as entirely as absolutely evil, and you'll have the good natured women on the other side. Okay, here you will have they are just individuals. Okay, individuals doing individual things. That's how I would put it. So that's a very interesting aspect, and I'll come back to that. And the first point that I'm going to make, okay, the structure of this presentation is going to be that I'll be throwing light on 3 of the short stories. There are 13 stories in total, but given that the time limit is 20 minutes, I'll focus on 3 of them in particular, and the title story in detail. Then I'll come to the themes and some concluding thoughts. Now, the first thing is we need to look at the history of Tamil literature to understand the evolution of this form called short story. Now, Tamil short story form gained prominence only in 1930s. Okay, that is with the advent of writers like Pudumai Pithan and other writers belonging to the Tamil movement called Manikodi Yugam. Okay, Manikodi is a literary weekly that came out for nearly 7 to 8 years, I believe, and then they had to stop it because of financial issues. Now, Pudumai Pithan, writers like Pudumai Pithan in 1930s, they brought recognition for this form called short story. In fact, he has written a story called Vada Malligai. Okay, that is, I do not know whether there is an English translation available. It's I believe it's Unwithered Jasmine. Okay, I'll call it that. Adula vandu there is a widow. He introduces the character of a widow in that story, and he calls her using one expression, that is, அதாவது அவள் வந்து ஒரு உலாவும் கவிதை, அதாவது she is a wandering poem, and she has all the blessings of the nature. இயற்கையின் பரிபூர்ண கிருபையில் மலரும் பருவம் அப்படின்ற மாதிரி he would have described the character of that widow. I was taken aback. This was my very first encounter with Tamil short story, and I was taken aback. And when I discussed with one of my professors, he told me that Pudumai Pithan and all the other writers, they wrote at the genesis of this form, and that's why you find such powerful sentences. Okay, this quality of freshness, okay, that is associated, that I associate with the Tamil short story form, is found in Ambai stories as well. And Ambai has been writing for 40 years, let's say from 1980s, and most of her works are critically acclaimed. So I find that freshness. I do not know any other way to describe it. In every story, there is something to be cherished. I mean, you find that that aura that I cannot describe it, but that is there. Okay, so that is one of the reasons I chose this word. Now, before I get to the title story, in the preface title "Stories and Me," she has given excuse me. Okay, she has given 2 points. Okay, there were 2 striking images. In fact, the work is full of unique and simple images. I'll throw light on a few of them. Okay, she identifies that innate need of humans to tell stories. Okay, in fact, 1 or 2 years ago, I sat one night at 2 a.m. and contemplated about the purpose of my existence. Okay, like all the philosophers who have been searching for the meaning of life and other stuff. Okay. But then I got an answer for that while reading one work last year. It's by S. Ramakrishnan, another regional writer. See, somebody comes home and you have hanged the picture. A picture of your, let's say your grandfather or grandmother is hung on the wall. And they ask you a question, who is this person? And then you start narrating the story இந்த மாதிரி அவர் எப்படி வாழ்ந்தவர் தெரியுமா, he used to be like this அந்த மாதிரி. So one day I just sat and thought about how the stories we tell, okay, even the way I described my grandfather or grandmother, even that is a story, right? So the whole purpose of our existence is to leave a story behind. I mean, if you think about it in those terms. And I was also stunned by one line, this one particular line in Dostoevsky's work. It's called White Nights. In that story, the protagonist feels lonely. Okay, he's walking along a very empty road, and there he finds a woman who is going to be harassed by some stranger. He saves her from that guy, and they both walk together to her house. I mean, he's going to drop her at her grandmother's place. Appo she'll ask one question. Okay, can you tell me your story? Since you are a stranger, can you tell me your story? So, Appo, this protagonist, he is suffering from loneliness. Okay, otherwise he has nobody in his life. I mean, at least that's how the character is described in that work, White Nights. He says, I have no story to tell. He said that sentence to her, and that's when she'll ask one question. Okay, how can you live and have no story to tell? Okay, that line actually transformed my life. In fact, I'll remember the line for the rest of my life. You know, how can you say that you don't have a story? So that's when I realized the value of story, the power of a story to move people. I mean, that is, it tells us, it points out the insatiable appetite, right? Our insatiable appetite to identify ourselves through our stories. Okay, that's another point. That point is actually mirrored by Ambai in her preface, not in the exact same way, but then that's what she says. And the second thing is, she uses the windows. Okay, she uses the concept of windows to describe her process of writing. In fact, she says that the windows are an opening to see the outer world from within. Okay, that is even the squirrels and birds that comes outside, the rains, the jackfruit tree, and even the bus windows. Okay, the government bus windows, everything is described. That window, that image is actually brilliant here, because she also says in another one of in the very same paragraph that the world, I'm quoting her, she says that the world continues to fall on my mind like sunlight in geometric shapes falling on the ground. Okay, that is, you'll have the sunlight reflected by the windows in our houses, right? It will fall on the ground in various shapes. That is how the story comes to me. And I am confused whether what are born from it are stories or versions of myself. Okay, are exact words. Okay, until that confusion exists, she'll continue to write stories. That's what she says. I found it to be a brilliant image. Okay, the image of windows. And I also remember another Tamil short story by Jayakanthan. It's called Naan Jennal Arige Utkarndirukkiren. Okay, it talks about how the women in the rural areas, they had no exposure to the outer environment, to the outer world, except for the small window through which they could have a small vision of what's happening outside. That's a brilliant story. I mean, you guys can note it down and go read it, and it will take a lot of time if I just go on. The next thing is another brilliant image is about what she says about translation. As I already mentioned, this was first written in Tamil. Okay, and the English translation is done by a professor from JNU, a retired professor from Jawaharlal Nehru University. And she says that the process of translation, it's like taking a seed from one soil and planting it in another soil. Okay, and the thing is, I mean, how do I interpret it? That is, you are not altering the nature of the seed, but then preparing the new soil for the seed to take root. Okay, that is again, and she says that her own stories, they become unfamiliar to her when she reads it in English. Okay, that is because when she first encounters her story in English, she says that it's like finding the first green shoot. Okay, in a plant that you have in a plant that you thought it was dead. Okay, it's a new story. A translation can never be the original. It can try to touch the original, but it will never embrace it. That's what she says. And I'll come to the translation part towards the end of my presentation. Okay, so coming to the first story, I believe see, with the advent of critical theory and with the advent of critical theory, I believe that the need to look at a story objectively. Most of the presentations that I come across, okay, see, literature is all about feeling it. I mean, you need to feel that story in your bones to experience it. That's what literature is all about. So my presentation will never be objective. Okay, in fact, I'll include anecdotes from my life as well. In fact, here I would like to quote one Norwegian writer, Nat Hansson, who says, he uses a very interesting phrase. Okay, when talking about truth, I believe it's from his critically acclaimed novel Hunger. Truth is neither objectivity nor the balanced view. It is a selfless subjectivity. That phrase selfless subjectivity is there. That's what you need to let the story affect you. Okay, that's how I interpret it. That's what is going to happen in this presentation. So that element of subjectivity will always be there. Now coming to the first story. Okay, the title of the story, I mean, it's a title story, a red-necked green bird. Now in this story, I believe the story comes as it's the fifth story in the collection, and this is the high point of the collection, if you ask me. And to be very honest, not all the stories in this collection are can be considered great. Okay, I mean, there are some mediocre stories. I mean, personally speaking, but then this particular story, it's so poignant. Okay, I'll just it has some electrifying paragraphs. I'll talk about it. See, it's about hearing, sound, speech, and communication. Now, what happens is in this story we have an hearing impaired girl called Temoli. Okay, she is an adopted child, and her parents are Maithili and Vasantan. Now, Vasantan works in an advertising sector, and he considers himself to be a progressive man. Or he even refuses to take up advertisements that talks about fair skin and other things. He considers, he says that it's inhumane to say that black skin is ugly. Another, he believes that he holds very progressive views. Now he has a music teacher as his wife called Maithili, a very interesting character. Now what happens is she's trying to conceive a child for nearly 15 years, and finally, I think after 15 years they adopt a child. Vasantan suddenly brings home Tenmoli, and he lovingly names her Tenmoli. Now one personal realization that I felt is, Tenmoli, that name Tenmoli is the name Tenmoli is one of the sweetest names I've ever heard in my entire life. Okay, especially when the mother calls her daughter Ten inge va appdin solli she'll call in that story. See, I melted in that place. See, that's because that's when I thought about my name. Okay, and I used to feel that Ganesh is a very common name in India, whereas my sister, whose device I incidentally had to borrow for this presentation, Tara Chandrika, has such a beautiful name. Every time my mother, even when she's scolding her, she used to say Tara. And the Tara Tara, it means star and wealth. Okay, and Chandrika, Chand means moon. So how poetic my sister's name is. Okay, every time my mother calls her, and my name on the other hand is so ordinary. That's I thought about all that. Okay, while reading this particular story, the name Temoli brought about all those thoughts. Okay. So what happens is, the Vasantan doesn't know that Tenmoli is cannot hear. Okay, that is she is deaf. So what happens is, one day, now Maithili finds out that her daughter cannot hear. At around 3 or 4 years old, she finds out that that Tenmoli cannot hear, and she's hesitant to let this. Let this information known to Vasantan, because Vasantan, she's surprised. She honestly surprised that Vasantan, a male or a man could yearn so much for a child. He's such a loving father. Okay, he spends all of his time with this child, and she did not realize this all of this time, right? Those 15 years, she thought Vasantan was, that he did not care much about the child, but suddenly she's hesitant. I mean, she doesn't want to spoil the love that Vasantan has for this Tenmoli, this girl. So one day she uses the word deaf. Okay, she uses the word saying that our daughter is deaf, and I thought you should know this. She lets him know. Vasantan becomes furious that she even uses the word deaf. Okay, and that's when she goes near the child. Okay, she takes up an alarm clock and she rings it aloud. Keeping it near her ears, and she doesn't show any reaction. That's Vasantan is heartbroken. Okay, he cannot take this news at all. In fact, she's furious. He shows all his anger on Maithili, and what happens is Vasantan, Tenmali grows older. Okay, in fact, she forces her to wear a hearing aid. Okay, so that she becomes normal. Okay, now this is where you need to understand the stress of a school-going child. Okay, who is forced to confront an adult world that considers her disability to be a curse. Okay, I did not know that wearing that hearing aid, right? That it can cause so much disturbance. Tenmoli describes it as violence. Okay, that is sound is aggression to her. I mean, she wants the silence to prevail. When you wear that hearing device, I learned that you cannot distinguish between various sounds. Right? You cannot distinguish the human voice from other sounds that you encounter. Okay, let's say the sound of a vehicle that's going outside. Everything will fall at the same intensity, and she's unable to take it. So what happens is there is again a brilliant description of how the school kids, they used to come home and they shrug off their bags and the shoes and sit peacefully in a position, right? And whenever she comes from her school, she'll just take that hearing aid from her ear and just throw it away. Okay, and this has been going on. So there is this conflict between the daughter and the father. Okay, and then the father wants her. The father, he's disapproved. He's expressing his disapproval over the daughter wanting to learn the sign language. She loves learning this sign language because the sign language lets her stay in her own universe and communicate with others. Sign language and lip reading. Okay, she learns all this even without Vasantan's knowledge. So one day, what happens is when she's turning 18, Vasantan it is revealed that Vasantan has saved enough money for her to save money for a surgery, that's cochlear surgery. Now cochlea is part of the inner ear that is crucial for the sense of hearing, right? Now he has saved enough money for her to undertake this surgery, but what happens is the daughter, who is now 18 years old, I believe, she bluntly refuses this offer from her father, saying that I will never take up this surgery because I do not think it is necessary. அப்படின்னு அவன் சொல்றான். அந்த இடத்துல the family breaks apart. Okay, ஏன்னா the Vasantan cannot take this any longer. ஏன்னா he has also come from ஒரு poverty, from a state. Okay, they were financially not stable, and then he saved both the husband and wife. They saved enough money, and now they are they are well off now. But now the daughters, when she says something like this, Vasantan he loses all hope, and he's overwhelmed to know that her daughter can say something like that. That she prefers to let the silence rule over the sound. Okay, I'll put it that way. Okay, so then what happens is, one day the story is actually told as a series of flashbacks. Okay, now Ambai is known. Earlier she used to write in a straightforward style, it seems. Now in the last 2 or 3 of her collections, you will find diverse narrative techniques. Okay, I'll come to the style. In the beginning, you find a note from Vasantan saying that this is enough. Okay, that I'm going to leave both you and Tenmoli. In fact, I do not want any of this. In fact, I am renouncing this material life and I'm going somewhere. So you will find a note in the beginning of the story. That's how the story begins. Now he disappears. Vasantan disappears for 2 days, and Maithili believes that he'll come back, and he'll come back anyways after a week or after a week or 2. So she doesn't bother, and then she starts searching for her husband. She believes that he couldn't have gone a long way. The journey starts. Okay, it's a very long journey. She's traveling across states. Okay, she goes to Punjab, Madhya Pradesh, Mumbai, and many other states in search. I mean, his work usually carries a lot of travel. And what happens is he used to travel from one state to another. So adnala she is asking his friends about where Vasantan could be. I mean, she's going everywhere. After a month of travel, okay, she finally it's a brilliant portion. I want you guys to go back and read this particular story, at least this one story. She finds him at the base of a temple in Uttarakhand. Okay, in Uttarakhand, and she hears from other people that he has become a saint. Okay, or a Gunga. He's called Gunga Baba or something like that. That he has renounced all material life, and he is going to be a Samyar-like state. Okay, and you find people worshipping him. Okay, there she goes. I mean, this is after months. Okay, you need to realize that after a long period of separation, she is finding her husband again. He has a long beard in a different state. Okay, she has traveled across India in search of him. She stands there. Okay, she's standing at the base of the mountain, and Tenmoli is standing beside her. And suddenly, see, this is the moment. I'll call it a boundless moment. I have been searching for an adjective from 6 a.m. today to describe this particular scene, but then I'm unable to find it. So I'll just put it this way: it's a boundless moment. She says the Tenmoli is going to embrace. I mean, she starts running towards her father to hug him, but Maithili stops her and says that he has written a letter. I mean, asking us not to approach him. Okay, he wants a release from us. Her mind voice is sort of captured by the writer. She says that quote unquote, I release you from all that was said, not said, wanting to be said, and what will be said. அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டு she turns back. Okay, அந்த இடம் வந்து I don't know, man. It's I do not know how to describe it. But what she does is she hears that people usually leave chapatis or other money for the saint near near him, near Vasantan. A stool is kept there. People usually leave something for him to eat. Now, without his knowledge, Maithili, she goes there. She leaves 5,000 rupees. Okay, and the debit card that he has left behind in their house. Okay, and she goes and places a debit card and a piece of paper with her phone number written on it. And she comes back, and that's when the character of Vasantan, he becomes a memory. Okay, here see, I recently heard about psychiatrist Scott Empek. Okay, he has written a book called The Road Less Traveled, where he talked about love, spirituality, and other stuff. See, anga vandu he says that love is the free exercise of choice. Okay, that love is volitional rather than emotional. That is, you choose to love somebody. Okay, if love is volitional, it becomes an act of will. And when it is an act of will, there is an element of choice involved. Okay, so we do not have to love, we choose to love somebody every day. That's what love is all about. And that chapter is titled Love is Not a Feeling. Okay, such a brilliant chapter. Again, I do not know, I just related that particular chapter with this story. Okay, suddenly he chooses not to love her and he just goes away. And Maithili realizes that she cannot, she cannot go plead with him saying, come back and live with us. They journey back home in the very same instance. And and towards the end of the story, what happens is Tenmoli had written an essay. Okay, it is mentioned that she has won the first place in an essay competition, and that essay competition was about how only sound is not communication. Okay, that essay is titled Language Isn't Sound. Language is not sound. And there she talks about how sound is aggression to her, and she wants to live in a world of silence. Okay, about how sound defeats silence all the time. And the mari or essay is written, such a poignant piece. Okay, and in fact, this is the first time I'm encountering something like this. Okay, or the essay that she wrote inside that story is given towards the end of that story. I mean, it comes in the narrative. It becomes a part of the narrative. And the point here is silence is the main point that this letter signifies, according to me, is that silence is also part of the discourse. Okay, so yes, so I'll stop with the story, but see, it's about a sense of belonging. Okay, this is my analysis. That is, you need to have that sense of belonging to belong to live somewhere. Okay, otherwise, in fact, home itself is a feeling, right? If you don't feel safe inside the constraints of the place you call home, it will no longer be your home. And that's what I feel. And in fact, I spoke to you about that moment Maithili decides to leave Vasantan and go back to her place, right? And the moment I was also reminded of another Iranian short story called A House in Heaven. Okay, it's written by a writer called Goli Taraki. Okay, again, it's a must-read story, and in that story you will find a character, Mahin Banu. Okay, she's 60 years old, and in fact, both her son and daughter, they almost neglect her. You know, she is unable to live with them because her daughter has a husband, and their house is very small for her. I mean, to accommodate her. In fact, she's forced to sleep on the sofa. And in that hall, there's a dog, okay? And that scene, okay, where she's unable to communicate with that dog. Okay, that's such a heartbreaking scene, okay? And so she's forced to leave her daughter's house. And throughout this journey, what happens is she travels from one place to another through aeroplanes, right? She doesn't get this sense of belonging anywhere. But in that aeroplane seat that she gets, okay, where she feels that is the only place, that seat that she has in that plane, right? That is the only place where she is free from other people's aggression. The other people here are her own daughters, her daughter and son. And she has problem with her daughter-in-law as well. Suddenly she is unable to stay with her son. So finally what happens is, the Goli Taraki describes her as a piece of hot bone. Okay, that's how she becomes that weak, and finally her brother comes forward to take care of his sister. Okay, in his house, and there you find one image. Okay, that image is there. In Iran, you find the highest peak is called, I think it's Damavand peak, Mount Damavand in Nanikiran. And the peak I think it's near the place where she stays, her brother's house. And she'll go outside, she'll walk into the snow, and there she'll recollect her childhood. When she was 10 years old, she used to climb on her father's shoulder and look at the hills. Okay, and the moment when it will describe this way, that is, she's traveling in an aeroplane. Okay, in the only place where she belongs, that is the aeroplane seat. That 1 or 2 hour journey. The time during which she feels safe. And from that aeroplane window seat, she looks at the same Mount Damavan and sees and recollects how that it's very similar to how she used to sit on her father's shoulder and look at the same hills, right? Otherwise, she transports 50 years. She's transported 50 years backwards, and that image, right? It was so touching. Okay, the safety of her father's shoulder. Okay, that's how I would put it. She gets that safety nearly after 50 years in an aeroplane seat, and not in her children's house. And it was so touching. Okay, and see, I had to go back to my room, lock the room, and cry for 20 minutes. And I couldn't take it. That image is so powerful. That is the sense of belonging that I'm talking about. In fact, she wants to be a memory. Okay, she wants to die at that point, and in fact, she dies in 1 or 2 pages. Okay, so I did not want to narrate this story, but then I was reminded. You can draw parallels between both of these stories, because the Iranian short story also evolved only after 1930s. Okay, the Iran, a country caught in a lot of conflicts, women writers were given a voice only in the first half of the 20th century. So that is there. Now coming back, so I'll move to the next story, that is the fall. Okay, falling is another story where you find again see ஒரு husband her husband is almost going to die, and her child says that they are people with expiry date because they are old, they are too old for him to spend money to come from the west to India. So he's complaining about the amount of money he has to spend every time he has to every time he has to come to India and take care of the father. அங்க கடைசியா வந்து she is very unhappy, the protagonist, and she decides to commit suicide. Okay, falling from her hotel that she used to go with her husband. This hotel is in Shimla, and from the top, from that balcony, she says that even if all of my bones are fractured and become particles, okay, I want my spine to be intact because I want my son to know that old people are also strong. அப்படின்ற மாதிரி ஒரு line will be there. Again, it's a very sad story, but she prefers to die with dignity. அந்த மாதிரி ஒரு angle it's given to that story. I really like that angle as well. Now, a crow with a swollen throat is the third story that I want to talk about. Now, with this story, it's very simple. In this story, you find a crow that prefers only fresh food. Okay, when you keep old food for that crow, it neglects, and this crow comes every day and sits near the kitchen, that windowsill, and that crow reminds the protagonist of her father who suffered from throat cancer, right? And even with the cancer, that the father is too finicky. He prefers food in a certain way, and when it is not given to him that way, he rejects breakfast or dinner. So and to that protagonist, that crow, the crow comes back as a father in that sense. Okay, so from that bus window, she's watching. On one day, she's sitting on a public transport, and she finds this crow. This crow also has a swollen throat. Okay, it's run over by a bike, and you find all the other crows, okay, coming and mourning the death of this crow. Okay, symbolizing how that need to care for when you care for others, that's when you truly become human. Okay, that's what makes you human. Okay, I'll come to this point of empathy. That is the final point. Now there is another story called a Swayamvar with no bows broken. Again a very interesting story. It's about how the people identify themselves as progressives and conservatives, and how the progressive son here, he cannot handle the decision of his 60-year-old mother wanting a companion. Somebody to stay with her. Okay, they disapprove of her decision, and finally she makes her own choice. Okay, now I'll come back to I'll see. There's this story called The Pond. Okay, I'm running short of time. I'll talk about this one story and move on to the themes. Okay, The Pond is another story. Not everybody may like this particular story, and she has brought in some mythological elements as well here, because here you find some 10 to 15 people going on a trek, and one night this protagonist, he jumps into a pond and suddenly becomes a woman. Okay, and what happens after that is what follows in the story. But see, the female experience, okay, it talks about that. And though I may not have experienced it to the level that the protagonist experiences here, see, during the COVID time, what happened is I had to stay away from my family for 20 days. That was the first time I had to take care of myself. I did everything from cooking, disposing garbage, cleaning the house, and every other housework. Okay, cooking especially. Now, the absolute cruelty of cooking. Okay, I thought I'll make tasty chicken and mutton dishes on my own. Okay, I had so much plans. I'll be cooking for myself. I had that pride in me. As a few days went by, that is on the 10th day and all, see that monotony of walking into the kitchen. Okay, that was just too much, and that was when I was supposed to think about my mother. Okay, who just casually, walks into the kitchen, barges into the kitchen. Okay, cooks for us every day, and then goes to work for 8 hours and comes back and repeats it every other day. Repeats the same routine. And see that was I thought of it as something very normal, and it was only after reading and this was around the time I read Chitra Banerjee's Palace of Illusions. You find a very similar scene in that, where that brinjal she's given to cook by her mother-in-law, it gets burnt. Okay, the same way I also I kept rice and I forgot to turn off the stove, so the rice was burnt, and that was I just sat down. I was heartbroken that day, and I couldn't. Take it. Okay, that too. I need to watch the vessel again, right? So it was just too much. That was when I realized the value. That is the importance to understand and acknowledge the role played by women in my life. Okay, literature taught me that. Okay, to be very honest. So that I can find traces of that in this particular story, The Pond. Okay, now there are some 10 more stories, but then I'll go on to the themes. You guys can go back and read it. Now the two very important things, okay, that you can find in every single story of Ambai is are food and music. Okay, music just connects every character. Okay, yeah, and food especially, you will find detailed descriptions. Okay, especially how when after an emotionally intense scene, either of the characters, at least one of the characters will go to have a cup of tea or a coffee, or make breakfast or dinner. That what happened. And here in this collection, I found three very interesting dishes. One is the sandwich. Wheat bread sandwich is described in detail in for two paragraphs. And then pomfret. Okay, pomfret, I think it's called vawal mean in Tamil. Or is it Vanjiramai? Okay, it's vawal.
Ganesh,
yes,
just a moment. Can you complete your presentation in 5 minutes? In another 5 minutes?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
It will get over in 5 minutes. Okay.
Okay, right. Thank you, Ganesh.
Yes, ma'am. So, and the food descriptions also, they matter so much. You will find how the masala is added, and all of those are described in detail. Okay, it's I think it's unique to her stories. Okay, the way she describes it. And finally, coming to the conclusion. Okay, so see there is a lack of sentimentality. Okay, but then you relate with the character. Okay, the empathy is what is needed. Empathy, the thread of empathy runs through the course of all the stories. Okay, that's what I noticed. Okay, only, there is no common thread. Okay, no genres, or even you'll even find cyborgs. Okay, a science fiction story among the 13 given by her, but you find that the tenderness, there is a sense of empathy in every story, and I think that only that pure love will save the world, if you think about it. The ability to place yourself in another person's shoes and experience life, right? That's when you attain the height of humanity in Radha. That's my point. So I would like to conclude by saying that this collection of Ambai teaches us to live, to love, and to die. Okay, thank you so much.
Wonderful presentation, Ganesh.
Wonderful, yes.
What's the title of that book, Ganesh? The one by the psychologist?
One by the road less traveled.
Road less traveled.
Okay.
It's
okay.
It was written in 1960s, I believe. It's 1968.
Yes.
Okay. And okay, fine.
Shall I just express what I have to say about yours? Can I, or Deepa?
Yes, sir, Sree, you're wrapping up.
Yes. Yours was a very detailed, very comprehensive presentation, just like Ambai's works. I think well researched, well scholarship. I think all credit goes to you for your great scholarship, because you're able to draw parallels.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
From all other short stories. thereby pointing out to the universality of experience in almost, or I mean, all human beings. So what Ambai had to say, I think you showed that it was universal, and I think it is very subjective yet a very objective research work. Continue.
That was my
Yes,
aim,
it
ma'am. Thank
is.
you so much.
Yes, thank you. Continue to be a good researcher. Yes, very well. Yes.
So the floor is open for questions and discussion. If anyone has questions for Sree, Abirami or Ganesh, you can please ask them.
I'd like to congratulate both presenters, and the takeaways, I'm kind of looking at my own little flock at QMC. So students, there's a lot that we can learn from both presenters. One is their passionate engagement, and you would have noticed that Ganesh connects across various texts, an Iranian writer, and so many other books that he has read. The Road Less Traveled by Scott Peck, and so this is one thing that I would like to advise you about. Make connections as you're reading. Make connections. Okay, that's it from my side. Vinita, you always wrap up very well. No, Vinita gives a very nice summary on our department WhatsApp, and appreciation of the presentations. You'd like to say something, Vinita? Jayvarshini, this is your first day on In Tandem.
Yes, ma'am. It was
Yes,
awesome.
yes. You can give
Yes,
your appreciation, and the presenters will be very happy.
yes, ma'am. Actually, I really wanted to thank you for giving me this opportunity, and I'm like really feeling like a literature student, drawing connections from various works, and I really love both the presenters' presentations, and it really like gave me insights, various insights, like how I could relate things from one book or one author's work to others. It was really awesome, and I really want to thank you and both the presenters. Thank you so much.
Maybe Dr. Deepa, we can proceed to the vote of thanks, because it's you can see people leaving the meeting.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Sure. So,
Sumitra?
yes, ma'am. Should I give the vote of thanks?
No, Sumitra will give. Sumitra.
Okay. Thank you everyone for joining. Thanks for Maria Preeti ma'am for giving me this opportunity to chair the session. Thanks to Dr. Rufus and Dr. Srilata and all the others who have joined and listened patiently to the presentations. And thanks particularly to the enthusiastic presenters. So Sree Abirami's presentation was wonderful. She gave a very comprehensive view of the Sahitya Akademi, and also the way she narrated Selladapanam. It was very clear that she had read it with a lot of enthusiasm, and she could put that enthusiasm into her presentation. And Ganesh again has done a very in-depth analysis, once again relating literature to his life, moments in his own life, his own experience, and he has understood the humanness of the characters here, and his analysis of Ambai's characters, that they are complicated, as complex as humans, and you can't really have a one-sided view or a feminist view of these characters. And so that was very interesting, because I feel that's very individual idea. As he said, while even I was when I was browsing about, I could always see this, that she was a feminist writer, but when you read her stories, in fact, I've read a few short stories of Ambai, and I find it's not really true. In fact, she presents humans in all their depth and complexity and beauty, and gives importance to individual experiences. And so Ganesh spoke about that very well. Thank
Thank
you,
you, ma'am.
the presenters here, and thanks to all of you. Thanks a lot for joining. Thank you very much.
Yeah, and
Thank you, ma'am.
regarding feminism, I just want to make a point. We cannot apply global feminism in the Indian context. Actually, Aparna Srinivas, she's not here, but she could talk a lot about this in relation to what the writings of Rajan Krishnan and people have expressed the Indian woman's experience. So I think that's a topic for another day, but just letting our young scholars know.
Yes.
Sumitra, you're around? I think she's not connecting. Okay, thank you, Dr. Deepa, and thank you, Dr. Rufus. Thank you,
Thank you, ma'am.
Srilata, and thank you for all who have come today. So bye-bye, and we'll meet next Friday. So it's on the crossword award. So faculty, please try to get some presenters, and I'll be grateful for support. Deepa, if you can get your students to present, that would be good. I'll text you.
Ma'am?
The next meeting is on the crossword award.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, I'll get in touch with you.
Right, ma'am.
Thank
Yes.
you, Rufus, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, Deepa. Thank you, Srilata, ma'am. Thank you, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Thank you,
Ganesh.
Rufus.
Yeah,
Yes.
thank you, ma'am.
And no, thank you for bringing Ganesh here. I mean, all the potential he has of a very good
Yes,
researcher.
but Ganesh volunteered,
Yes,
ma'am. He
Thank you.
himself
yeah.
volunteered. Yeah.
I'm
He's a
looking
very
forward
good
to the day when
student.
he'll
Yeah,
be a
I
professor.
would like to, see more of students of literature being like him.
So true.
Right,
So true.
really.
Yes, ma'am.
My privilege, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, Ganesh. I mean, you're
Yes, ma'am.
you're much ahead of your years, I should say, in
Yes,
terms of
that's
your
Very
study of
true.
literature. That's my sincere compliment to you.
Thank you, ma'am. It means a lot, ma'am. It means a lot. It
yes.
made my day, actually. Thank you so much.
And very happy to be a small part of your journey.
Ma'am, I think I'll be presenting more for the research club from now on. So maybe next month, one
Wow.
presentation.
That's great.
Okay, you have the
Okay.
schedule with you, right? So
Yes,
in
ma'am.
any
Yes,
time.
ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Absolutely. Thank
Yeah,
you so much for the opportunity. Thank you,
we
ma'am.
are also looking forward to hearing from you. Right.
Yes.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, right.
Thank
Yes,
you,
ma'am.
Rufus, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
I should be
ma'am.
thanking Rufus sir for adding me to this
Yeah.
group because I wouldn't have known anything about. I mean, I learned so much from this club over the last 1.5 years, and that's why I mentioned it in the beginning of my presentation.
True.
Okay.
Actually, I'm going to make the youngest member of our group, Chairperson, present because I listened to one of her presentations recently, and she does have that capacity for research presentation.
Yes, ma'am, I would love to.
Yes.
Okay, everybody,
So
see you.
thank you all.
And
Thank you, ma'am.
yeah, Rufus sir doesn't like people saying good night, so I won't say that.
Why not? It is.
Because he reads late into the night.
Yeah, I too sleep only. I sleep only the next day, and yet it is still good night. We can't go.
A good
Yeah,
night
it's
of
still young.
reading.
Night. Okay. Good night. Okay, Deepa. Also, seeing you.
See
I
you,
don't
ma'am.
remember having seen you properly the last time. Okay.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
All right.
Chalo, bye bye.
Bye, ma'am.